Ralph's had quite a week. He is now mixing drinks in his mouth. He's just chugging Absolute. And I think he's even taking super chats where it's like if you give him $15, he'll pop a Xan on stream and down it with vodka. Like that's literally what he's fucking doing at this point. So his streams are improving in quality. It's safe to say they're definitely going up in quality, chat. Here's a little synopsis of one of his pill streams. He says, he started by chimping out links over a catfish super chat, as is traditional. Mike's more thinly veiled threats to her based on what is an obvious third party has says. He insists she also DM'd him that she loved him but wasn't prepared to leak it. So if you haven't heard, some e-girl called Lynx was kind of involved with Ralph. He came on to her really hard. He wrote her literal poems, which I'll explain in a little bit, but he wrote her like poetry. And she made it clear, like, I am not sexually interested in you at all. I do not want a relationship with you at all. And then immediately the Ralph man says, fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, whore. Never trust no bitch. And just went really hard after her. And she's like on Twitter, you know, bathing in the attention. Like, yeah, look at this simp in my DMs. And he gets hurt feelings over that. I was looping over a Trump clip and Kanye's demented song. Wigger wiggled so animatedly, he karate chopped the USB cable out of his webcam. Keeps begging for Collins to hit the goal. Watch Jesse P.S.'s recital of Kanye's deadbeat anthem. Minimize yesterday's threat bonanza. Insists the threats were just proclamations that he would if he could get away with it. Was crying over Amanda and Rosie. Says he still loves May, despite everything. Crying over Mother's Day. He shed a tear over this charming AI art of him and Rosie where he is depicted as a morose, fat old man in the children's vest. Is clearly poking fun at him and the horse progenitor. Did they say My Little Pony? Little Pony. He retells the story of how he cheated with May and valiantly protected a pregnant Faith from being caught in the melee. Conveniently forgets he strangled her because she didn't want to be a part of his cursed polycule. He insists that last night's pill stream was tequila only. He's soliciting super berries for a fresh bottle of mezcal. He threatened to procure one regardless. He realized he's too poor without a cash injection. And he screeched about how he's a dedicated father. I called in. And the reason why I called in is that he was like super fucked up on stream. And admittedly, very rare for me, I had had a drink. I don't know what possessed me. I think it was over a weekend or something. And I had a drink because I was like, fuck it, I haven't had a drink in a while. I can budget it into my calories. I'm going to have a drink. And of course, I'm not eating. So just like a little drink is like enough to like get like a buzz going. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to call into Ralph's show. And he was talking about, I still have the Old Bay vodka. I'm saving that for a special occasion. Okay. So he was talking shit. He was looping really hard. And then he was playing these like techno club soundtracks where it was like, just smack my horse up or something. It sounded like that. And he was like dancing to it. I'm like, okay, this seems like fun. He was like calling out for me into the ether. So I did call him. We had a nice little yelling at each other for 45 minutes. I posted the entire things on locals, manattheinternet.locals.com. It is, I think, public to view if you want to view it. If not, there's archives of it on YouTube. And there are some highlights of it. There are 3 things in particular I want to show. To give you an idea of how this went, when it first started, it was really like heated up. He wanted to just press me about like 8chan, and he was really, really interested in how when I was a teenager on Blockland, I said I wanted to kill my mom. He was like really incensed with that. He's like, what did she do to hurt you to make you want to kill her? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. It was 15 years ago. I don't give a shit. But he was really, really like hyped up on that. And I'll remind you, this is also old news. And the Intel board on 8chan would refer to me. They for some reason they were like they had like a love-hate with me, and they liked to bully me, but like in a really like friendly way. And they would refer to me as the Mom Slayer, and would post this copy pasta of a Blockland forum post, like in the official 8chan development threads, and would exclusively refer to me as the Mom Slayer. So, so this is something that I've heard before. Okay. The so then I kept asking him about, because he kept threatening to kill me like over and over again. Like, if I saw you, I'd slit your fucking throat. You wouldn't talk to me like that in person because I'd fucking kill you. The only thing you need is a bullet through your head, Josh Moon. And every time he did this, I just kept bringing up, like, when he threatened to kill your wife, May. Because if you don't remember, Ralph threatened to kill his wife, May. He said, she asked him not to put hands, that's that recording. She says, don't put hands on me. And she says, I'll put my hands on you if I want to. And if you try to stop me, I'll kill you. And like, do you understand? And that was like immediately before she left him. And he kept denying that this happened. So a lot of that was yelling. But then at a certain point, he starts chugging vodka and taking Xans. And for whatever reason, when he gets really fucked up and he's talking to me, he can't be angry at me. And he starts being really friendly and reminiscent on good times. One of the things that he does in particular is he tries to say, you know, the only reason why I even found out about the corn joke is that Gator told me. And it was trying to like shift the onus of all the hard times that followed after the corn joke as being Gator's fault. Gator planned this. Gator hates me, apparently. According to Ralph, Gator hates me more than anybody else. And so he was trying to sow the seeds of my destruction by whispering, like in Lord of the Rings. He's the little henchman behind the throne saying, "My lord, the corn joke is to be your demise unless you eliminate Joshua Moon." And that's what he tried to tell me. It's like it was all Gator. It was all Gator. I was just following orders. Which I believe, actually. Gator's a little of a two-faced, little cucaracha, a little kakalaka. And then so one of the things that he does, and he's done this multiple times now, either directly to me or just like on stream when he gets kind of like sentimental. A long time ago, when Donald Trump nominated Justice Kavanaugh to become a member of the Supreme Court, he had to go through a very rigorous hearing that lasted like 6+ hours. And the main point of contention with this hearing was that he was accused of, I believe, rape. And the woman that accused him of rape was this kind of awkward, I think like became a doctor, I want to say, eventually. And there's a very memorable line from that hearing where the Congress, and this is just a congressional hearing, so it's not like a trial, but it's kind of like a mock trial where they're trying to persuade people to confirm the nomination of Justice Kavanaugh. And they ask, how did you know in that rape that it was Justice Kavanaugh? And she said, I recognize his voice. And they asked, how did you recognize his voice? And she said, it was indelible in the hippocampus, trying to explain how the voice was a distinct enough sound that she would immediately recognize it. And that line became like a meme. So even though it was like a very boring congressional hearing about confirming a judge, it was actually really interesting. And it was a very strange stream where even back in the day, at the time, when Ralph was at his height, he had the Gator Gamer and he had Zidane, who were like both two Gamergate alumni that helped him. And Zidane was a sharp cookie. Is that no, it's not sharp cookie. What's the word for that? I'm mixing up like two different expressions like rocket surgery or anyways, he held the show together, basically. At the time, Gator was just a soundboard guy. That's all he did, is he pressed the soundboard. Zidane was the one who had the mind for organizing guest appearances, who I think did OBS stuff, who set up relays so that they could stream in one way, collect callers from Discord, collect callers from Google Hangouts, because at the time when Jim was really active, he refused to use Discord ever, so they had to set up a special system for him just to pipe him in from Google Hangouts into the stream so that people calling in on Discord could talk to Jim on Google Hangouts. And Zidane was the guy that set all that up. And then once his decline really started, Zidane left the kill stream. But this was at that time where Zidane was around, but because of the odd hour and schedule of the Kavanaugh hearing, neither Zidane nor Gator was there. So it was just me, Ralph, and Nora, which was his wife at the time. Nora was a medical student from Pakistan in the UK, and she was his long-term girlfriend. She had been around for years. She stuck with him when he went to jail for punching a cop. So she was like a real neezy, okay? She was with her mans through better or for worse, and she was pretty funny. She was like a smart, funny woman. And we were on the stream for like 6 hours, and it was a great show. Everybody had fun. It was one of the first streams that I ever did, um, especially to the viewers, because at the time he had like 9,000 viewers. Like he was doing the live stream, the court hearing thing before Ricada even did. Really, if you want to consider this like a quasi court hearing, and it was a very memorable stream that even I remember very fondly because I even remember a joke about how there was like a guy that had like a really bad balding like hairline, and it just left like a little circle in the back of his head. I remember making a joke like, it looks like he's wearing a kippa, and everyone laughed. And it was like one of the best fucking jokes I ever made. Anyways, what I'm saying is that I also remember this, and I remember it very fondly, as does Ralph. And there is some speculation that Ralph started abusing alcohol and Xanax at around this time. So the reason why he remembers this very fondly is that one of the side effects of Xanax abuse is that you stop forming long-term memories. And that's why Ralph loops so much when he streams, because he's literally not forming memories as he goes. So he doesn't know what he's talked about in the last 30 minutes because he's not recording it at all in real time. So when he thinks about stuff about when things were good, he has to go back to this point from before his Xanax abuse where his memories actually stick around, and that would be around the time where that stream happened. So that's why he remembers that. So I'm just gonna play some clips from this, and then there's one thing in particular I have to find from the actual stream.
Our Sonic, I told you this.
Okay, this I mentioned the poem that he wrote to Lynx to try and woo her, and it's been speculated that Ralph is maybe like a little bit of a Dick Masterson simp when it comes to women. Like in public, he's like "fuck you, bitch," trust no bitch. But then in private, when he's trying to get laid, he's like I want to fuck you raw and hard in that atavistic way, like how Dick Masterson writes his girlfriends. So, and I believe that because just listen to the utter poetry of this statement. He's saying this to me. This is what he's saying to me about the Kavanaugh hearing.
Our Sonic, I told you this before. Like our Sonic voice, me, you, Nora, right? Like it just clicks.
I have never had anyone say anything to me as romantic as our sonnet voice, because it's such a beautiful expression. Our voices in unison have this melody to them that is so effective. And it's like nobody's ever said that to me before. It's honestly, it's a little bit sexual. It's a little bit romantic and hot and heavy, and I had no idea what the fuck to say to that. Okay, it was very strange.
Right. And so I appreciate the things you've done for me, and I hope you appreciate the things you've done for me. So,
Well, I'm happy to help Ralph, but do you remember what changed between then and now?
well, I mean, it sounds like we're gonna get into fighting territory again, but
Asking, do you remember what it was?
Dick Masterson.
It happened on Dick's show, but there was an underlying problem.
Well, okay, well, just tell me that. Okay, we can have it out, like if you want. Like
You became hopelessly addicted to drugs and alcohol, Ralph.
okay, well, that's not exactly the case.
Ralph, you're fucked up on drugs and alcohol right now, Ralph.
Okay, yes, she could say.
Sent 3
Okay, that's one clip. Two clip.
Dick. Hey Josh, broke dick. How many?
And yes, the whiplash in the actual call is that bad.
How many kids do you have?
How many kids do you have in your life, Ralph?
2.
None. You don't see either of them regularly.
Wrong. I just saw my son this past week. You're absolutely
For an hour.
wrong.
Your court mandated 1 hour of time with Xander.
2 actually, and it's 4 total. So, you know what? I don't really have to prove anything to you. That's the thing. So, like,
If you want to.
you're just a
Anonymous sent
faggot.
$3. Josh.
What's really funny about this part is that I think after the fact, like after this stream, he was talking about how he went to go see Xander, and there was something wrong at the meeting, and Xander didn't seem particularly interested in spending the 2 hours with him. So he said something like that little cocksucker or something. He said something like really egregiously bad about his son. Because apparently their last meetup didn't go that well. He's like, I spent all that time and money trying to get with him, and then I see my son, and that little cocksucker didn't want to do anything. I was like, okay, buddy. That's a bit rough.
Dude, like, I want her to be the best person she can be,
This is about Nora.
and you know,
And you don't think she could have done that with you if you hadn't
no.
have gone to Miami and been with the hooker with Andy Worski?
Well, the hooker with Warsi is like a misnomer, but like um, do I think she could have done it with me? No, I don't.
Why not?
Because how can you? Like, I mean,
By the way, when that happened live, Andy Worski immediately reached out to me as it happened on Twitter DMs, and he desperately tried to clarify something that I didn't even think I said, but I guess it could be interpreted that way. That he did not share a hooker with Ethan Ralph. Instead, they got kicked out of their hotel room. I think this was when Andy Worski threw like a bag of ice at him in a hotel room, and they got into like a fight or something and got kicked out of the hotel. And then I think the story is that they parted ways and Ralph went away with the hooker. So, but Andy, for whatever reason, was very concerned that I was telling people that they had shared a hooker together in a hotel room, and he would like to clarify that that was not what happened. Then there's one other thing that, for whatever reason, was not clipped, but is probably one of the funniest fucking things ever. It's right after
Drugs and alcohol, Ralph.
you're fucked up part. For some reason, this was not included, even though it's so important.
okay, well, that's not exactly the case.
Ralph, you're fucked up on drugs and alcohol right now, Ralph.
Okay, you know, yes, she could
Anonymous
say
sent $3. The best frenemies on the internet.
it's funny because like me and you, like it's so it is actually hilarious because like we do go together like ham and cheese, but
Nobody has ever, on the spot, come up with an expression as funny as saying that me and Ralph are like ham and cheese. Because he is a pig monster and I am a connoisseur of fine cheeses, chat. And there's, honestly, it's one of the best things anyone has ever come up with on the spot for any reason. Never mind mid argument fucked up on Zans and alcohol. He still has it. He has that little spark in him still to be funny. I didn't even know ham and cheese was like a popular combination. That caught me off guard as well.